Back in studio with Rene Weinkauf of World Class Gym. You mentioned when we talked to you previously that you do take a lot more athletes than you used to. And one of the things you've really been focusing on is a lot of sort of group classes or group workouts with kids anywhere from ages 10 to 16, even some younger. But you were saying that one of the groups you've actually liked working with most is kids that aren't specifically playing a sport but getting into these group classes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people assume that the only kids that should be in a gym are these athletes. You know, hockey players, baseball players, and football players. I love training them all, but they're already athletes, right? So I mean, you get a pat on the back because they get stronger and bigger faster. Yes, you do. But there's also that group of kids that are shy, intimidated, scared to be in a gym, that want some change, but they don't want to play sports, but they want some change in their life. That's an amazing class to teach.
And what's the way you get those kids to kind of come out of their comfort zone and enjoy that setting?
One is that I know it sounds silly, but we have fun there. We're working out, we're sweating, we got music playing, we're joking around, and we're moving. Like I always say, movement is progression. These kids are not lifting heavy weights, they're not doing anything like that. We're just doing stuff that's fun and it just keeps them moving. A lot of these kids have nothing to do with sports. They never wanted to play sports, they don't want to play sports, but they want some change.
And so just general sort of body weight exercises, things to kind of, you can then relate to any kind of daily task, I guess.
That's right, yeah. And like I said, you get all kinds of kids, girls, boys, all meshed together. Same thing, same as our adult classes. You got big, small, young, old. Everybody's working to get a transformation. It doesn't matter what the transformation is, whether it's a skinny boy that wants to get bigger, a bigger boy that wants to get smaller, or anything like that. You know, some kids come in and have mobility problems that join that class. You know, some kids can't touch their toes. You know, some kids need help just becoming, more versatile.
And that can kind of relate back to our conversation about New Year's resolutions, is that when you have other people working with you, that's something of a more motivating factor. So you have multiple people keeping each other accountable or pushing each other.
That's right. It takes the stress load off, right? I mean, like I said, if it's more like a fun scene, it doesn't feel like, you got to do this, you got to do this. Come on, 5 more, 3 more, 2 more. That doesn't happen. When you got it in a group, it's mostly timed and stuff like that, where if one person does 5 reps in that minute, does 5. This guy does 10. Doesn't matter. You're not sitting here getting drilled on what you need to do. You do it at your pace, so we get your type of transformation done.
And now with parents who put their kids in classes, some parents kind of might almost expect the kids to get to a certain level of fitness too early, or they're wanting their hockey parents, for example, might want their kid to get to a certain size. But you have to be sort of careful about how much work they put outside of the ice, because it's still obviously some rest time between their actual competition.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very hard. I mean, it's totally different training what I do during season versus off season. I mean, right now, like my baseball players, I'm doing different workouts than I'm doing with my hockey players, right? My hockey players is high intensity. You're doing all kind of calisthenics. You're doing all kinds of jumping and skipping and stuff like that to get them faster and more agility stuff. Whereas during the off season, I'm doing more heavy weights to make them stronger to be able to push the stuff around or do their job a little better on the ice or on the field.
And I imagine there's an adjustment kind of relating back to the holiday season, that when you come off the holiday season, while some people stay active, some people also spend a lot of time in bed, whether they're sick or whether they're just getting rest from the past couple months of stress. When you get back into the gym, or you're trying to get into the gym, you have to know how to pace yourself at the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, even with our little athletes like we were just talking about, those kids all took like 2.5, 3 weeks off. So for them to come back on their first workout, if you want to make it look like the one that they just did 3 weeks ago, you're going to ruin them already. You got to start back over, baby step it again. Then next week, hit it again a little bit harder. But same with adults. You can't jump in 0 to 60, think that what you did 3 weeks ago you're going to do right now. Once again, you're setting yourself up for a downfall.
And do you ever do do you think it's important to do a specific to each person assessment when they get into the gym for the first time, or is it better to have sort of a baseline that it's available for everyone, and depending on your level of fitness and skill, you can go a little bit farther or not when they just start out? I mean.
Yeah, well, it all depends on our goal for that person. So a lot of times you have to do it individual stuff to make sure that it's only good for that person. Like I said, a lot of those groups, if it's a group class, it's hard to isolate one person in that class. because you're trying to get everybody going at once. So if it's someone that really needs some massive change, like especially on mobility stuff, then you kind of need the one-on-one thing. But in the group class, it doesn't matter. Everybody fits together because, like I said, one person does 5 reps, one does 10. It doesn't matter. But if it's a massive problem that we need to work through, like one kid's got a blown out knee, well, obviously I can't have him in the group because he can't do most of the stuff those other kids are doing.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for coming into studio, and best for this 2020 year. I'm sure it's going to be a busy one.
You too. Thank you.